Recently, a 500 level student of the Federal University, Dutse in Jigawa, Amin Muhammad, was arrested by the members of the State Security Service, DSS, and was taken to an unknown destination. So it took like 3 days before his family members and friends could know his whereabouts. He was later found in Abuja and arrested and put into a police custody, after which he was arraigned and later discharged by the police. What was the scene? Aminu sometimes last year took to his Twitter page to say that the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Yahaya Buhari, has eaten and fed fats on the poor people's resources. In Hausa, he said, "Mamata chikudin talaka taposhi," which means she has fed fat on the resources of the poor people. And he captioned it with a photograph and posted it on his Twitter page. This was the genesis of the problem that Aminu had to face for the next 2 weeks. Fortunately enough, with the effort of the members of the Nigerian civil society, and most especially the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, through its president, Usman Barambu, Aminu was released. And after that, Aminu had to confess the press and urge people to be wary of what they post online and try as much as possible to verify the contents they post online before they post. Today, on iMedia Podcast, we're going to be looking at how do we guard our utterances. What are the things that we need to say and what are the things that we don't need to say? Welcome to another interesting episode of iMedia Podcast. My name is Shamsudeen Abdulrazak Gidado, and with me is...
My name is Sherifat Yahaya. You're welcome.
So today we're going to be looking at the freedom of expression, the ability for us to talk, and how does it go against, or at what point in time does it get to the point where you now have to do with defamation of character, whereby you now start maybe some people feel offensive with what you've said. So, in today's society, we have the Section 39 of the 1999 Constitution, which gives every citizen the right to air their opinion, the freedom of expression, the freedom of speech. And we also have the Freedom of Information Act of 2011, which explicitly gives us the right to also go to government agencies to have access to information. And we have the Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that also gives us the right to actually say things and the right to say whatever we want to say without interference. So we can own up to an idea, we can say it without interference. But then, they said every research work has a limitation. So for that reason, there are points at which you now have to say, okay, fine, you take a break, like the Hausa people will say. You have to stay a bit before you now say, okay, I think I'm saying this. So at what point in time does people's rights become infringed when saying your own opinion?
It's always been known that we should always guide our words before we let it out. Like we should taste our words. And then in your inner mind, put yourself in that shoes. Like if this word is said to you, how are you going to take it? So it is said that we should always taste our words before we let it out. Always put yourself in other people's shoes whenever you want to say something. Yes, so that it will not turn out to be a lifetime damage to you or even that person you said it to. Fine, it's okay. Even if you made a statement and then without a fact, or even if with it's a fact and you know that it's going to hurt somebody, think before you let it out. And even if you let it out and immediately take responsibility for your action by apologizing to that person, in some way, it will take a long time, even if that person forgives you, it will take a long time for that person to be able to let it go, let it out of their head. Now, let's take a case of Deborah, who was allegedly killed by some group of angry mob at the Shehu Shagari College of Education, Sokoto. Deborah was said to have made a blasphemous statement about the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and then we got into the heads of some angry mob who went after her and then stoned her to death. Now that she was given the opportunity, or she's given the opportunity to come back to life, she wants to let guard her utterances because she wouldn't want what happened to her to happen again. Even though the killing of Deborah is not justifiable, but then
when she sees some issue, she'll be conscious of
if she
saying
come
it.
like she come out to like want to go back to that moment or that very incident, she will want to watch what she said. Those are some things that these little elements in our mouth called tongue can cause.
So I think to also shed more light, we once had a story that happened sometimes around 2017 of Haji Wala, that is Ibrahim Garba Wala, who is from Gombe State, and he at that time was a convener of Katban, which is a civil society organization. He actually made a statement, he released a press statement at that time, alleging that the then chairman of the National Hajj Commission embezzled close to about 3 billion naira after the Hajj exercise of that particular year.
Wow.
And he made the statement. So when the then chairman of the National Hajj Commission saw the news, he had to take the case up, and he sued him before the Federal High Court in Abuja at that time. And the court asked Ajiwala to present a case. Okay, you made this humongous claim. You've alleged that this guy, do you have evidence to back it up? He couldn't back it up with an evidence. And that led him to be sentenced to 12 years imprisonment. That was in 2019. Although Ajiwala has been released and he's now into another fresh business doing well, but then he will always remember the experience that before you make any statements, before you say anything, you must be able to prove it. Because Ajiwala had to serve a jail term. Although he didn't complete the 12 years jail term, but he served a jail term. He knows what has actually come over it. So beyond saying that we have a freedom of expression to actually say whatever you want to say, you should also be able to, at any point in time, be able to establish the facts.
Yes.
Now, in build up to the election, we have the fact-checking organization. Different fact-checking organizations are coming up on a daily basis. And now, before you can even say anything as a political office holder or anybody generally, people are there to fact-check you. Because a lot of fake news are here and there, and it beckons upon you also to try as much as possible to guard your utterance. Because it wouldn't really make sense for you to have actually gone to say a particular thing, and at the end of the day, somebody comes to tell you, say, oh God, please, sorry, what you just said is wrong. You feel somehow, and that alone is what the Quran has even helped us to actually say, the way the Quran actually tells us in Surah Al-Hujurat that who you will believe that if a wicked person, so the Quran uses a wicked person, so the Quran sees somebody that he's trying to pass a fake news as a wicked person. And he said, if a wicked person comes with the news for you, that you should verify. That you should verify before you pass it to others. That else, if you went ahead to share it, you might be hurting people. And at the end of the day, aside hurting people, you also feel bad when you discover that the news is not true. So that was just like a detailed explanation of what the verse in Surah Al-Hujurat explained. So it helps us generally to be able to be more careful. There's a need to be more careful. If you must say something, try as much as possible to be more careful on what you say.
Yes. And you know, Sham, sometimes there are some words you tell people to a person, and then which you don't know in that person's mind, maybe he's preparing something good, there's a big opportunity somewhere he has prepared for you and waiting for you to maybe to deliver the news to you, and then just one little word, one statement that you made to that person or you utter to that person can just tarnish a lifetime opportunity for you.
You know, it boils down to the fact that we need to be very calculative.
Yes.
We need to be very conscious while saying things. You don't just come up one day because of saying sake that you just want to say something.
Yes.
And there is this notion that the internet never forgets. Things you say now today, in 20 years' time, people will dig it up.
Of course.
Especially if you are in a public scene. People will dig it up and say and remind you that, Oga, at some point in time, you said AYZ. Why is it changing now? So if you want us to hold you accountable, if you want us to hold you as somebody of truth or somebody who is a good person, then definitely we should be able to hold you to what you've said before. So we've had people who in the past said some things, and now
It makes them to go down memory lane.
yes, people
and then
people
bring
will
it out,
always
bring it up to you.
come after you. That is why there is a need for consistency. There is a need for opinion. But as humans, people also repent. There's a pace of repentance where somebody is known to be bad before, and he now repents. But if you are inconsistent, it has an attribute. When you do something today and you said, okay, I want to keep, you continue doing it, and you say, okay, no, I've repented. Then tomorrow you go back being good. Next tomorrow you go back being bad. Then you become a chameleon. So over time, people will not trust you.
Of course.
But if you've lead that, okay, you are a very bad person over time, and you've done that consistently, being bad, then after a while you just sleep and wake up one morning and you feel that, okay, I need to be good. And you now turn a new leaf and you now start being good. Even when people might doubt you at ab initio that we don't trust you because of your past. Yeah. Over time, when they discover that you've turned a new leaf, it might take a while to actually get that confidence, but you're still going to gain the confidence of people back. Yeah. So that's the essence. But generally, as anywhere you found yourself, even if you are just a human being that don't hold any post, don't overrule yourself that tomorrow you cannot be somebody in life.
Yes.
So that you now just come up one day and you just come, and because you have access to the social media or because you have access to this, you just, okay, fine, since I have the right to freedom of expression, I can just say anything I want. Now, that's where the issue of defamation of character comes in. You feel you've actually earned your rights the way you see it to be. But you should know that as you're saying this, you should be able to back it up with evidence. Because if you go to court, you have to back it up with evidence. And say, okay, I know this man is a liar, but I don't have the evidence, so it won't hold weight in court. But you should be able, but if you have evidence that he's a liar, but you have possibly, so if you establish that somebody is a liar, you should be able to establish it or back it up with an evidence, either a written or maybe an audio or something to say, okay, this person is a liar. This person is a thief. What are the evidence? What are the things that shows that this person is actually a thief? Yeah. So when you're able to provide evidence and you're able to dig it up full time, that, okay, this is it, then when you say it, then you should be able to. But, and there is in physics, it is said that for every action, there are equal and opposite reaction. Okay. What that simply tells you is that you should also know. That's
for the physics student.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes. So it also tells you that at any point in time that if you are doing that, you should be ready for the repercussions that comes afterwards.
And then sometimes even within that period, maybe when you provide that, when you make that statement or maybe utter those statements like calling somebody a thief or something, and then you're unable to bring out that, but you're unable to bring out evidence to prove that that person is actually a thief or actually a bad person, then maybe you want to go. But then maybe you want to go and bring the evidence later. But within that period, that thing is already telling, that word or that statement is already telling on the person, because it has been recorded somewhere. Somebody somewhere has recorded it down, and then it's recording in the person, but it becomes the person's inner voice. Yes, like this person called me a thief. Even if the person comes with an evidence, later maybe he did not come with an evidence, but it's still, even if the person comes out with an evidence sometimes, but then it will still be that person that you accused, that person's inner voice. And tomorrow, there's no way you want to get a connection with that person.
Yes.
That the person wants to
it is said that you don't come back from court and be friends with people. Yes, you don't carry me to court and drag me to court, and tomorrow you now tell me that, oh God, sorry, and I'm mistaken. So some of those things are not they are not realistic. Even when we say, okay, fine, let's build the culture of forgiveness. Mm-hmm. Forgiveness is relative. Forgetting is also relative. I can say, okay, I've forgiven you. But then, for every time that I remember all these things that you show me or the things that you do to me, I always remember that, okay, this was a trauma that you let me go through because you actually made a false allegation. And you are not able to establish the fact. Yeah. Now, there is one other thing that we also need to look at as regards utterances. Even when we say people should guard their utterances, there is a place whereby when somebody says some things, it doesn't really matter how you feel about it. If it is the truth, it has to be said. Yes. But then, the person who is saying it should also be able to establish it beyond reasonable doubt, because it's gone beyond the social media space, or the media space, or the world we are living in now has gone beyond just making a statement because you feel like making a statement. So it has to do with the fact that you are able to know that what happens next. You know, at every point in time now, people now know the power of cameras.
Yes.
When you're saying something, somebody is ready to put you on camera. When you are on call with somebody is ready to put you on record.
Mm-hmm.
So you should also be able to be conscious of your environment, what you say, and things like that.
Even in private.
Even in private conversation with people, you might just be saying, okay, fine, I need to discuss with somebody, and this person is already putting his phone on record and is recording the conversations you're saying. So you never know who you can actually be more free with. Even within spouses, you have it. Even within the siblings,
Yes.
Not to talk about friends. At every point in time, you have a situation whereby when you say some things, you might not be able to take it back again.
So
one of the things there was one of I think it's an adage that says that things that goes and you can never take it back.
Yes.
You know, when it says that one of those things is age. You know, when if you are 17 years today and you are 18 today, so the time you've actually lost, you can't take it back. The second one is the words. When you say a particular words is, and maybe to somebody, you can't take it back. Even when you say I take it back, there were people that at that time that were there. You can't go back to everybody and tell them that, okay, this thing is wrong. Or even when you are making a statement.
Which has already caused damage, right?
It has already caused damage. The only thing you'll be doing is what they call the damage control, trying to look for how you can remedy the situation and bring up something out of it. So, but at every day in our day-to-day life, we have to be learn the culture, learn the ability to actually verify, because now we have people that are fact-checking.
Yes.
So politicians now know that they can't just come up to the media and say anything again, because the moment they say anything, people will fact-check them. So now fact-checking organizations are now we are now having more of fact-checking organizations springing up by the day, because they know that, okay, fine, they have to fact-check these people. You said this or this. So we've gone past the era of trying to come to the media and roll out data. Yeah. Coming to say, okay, you want to say this thing and this, that. So these are things that I feel we should try as much as possible to look at.
Yeah, then let me ask you, do you know that even some words we say with our mouth, like unguarded utterances, has led to a lot of people losing their marriages?
Yes.
Led to a lot of siblings fighting each other, and even to the extent of killing each other.
Yes.
Just because of this little element called tongue. What that this tongue has said to that person, or maybe a statement that has been made that has damaged the other person's brain and maybe way of thinking. It can lead to disaster, even in mere relationship too. Even at place of work. Yes. Place of work, if you don't guard your utterances, even at your place of work, it can make you to lose your job.
Yes.
And when you lose your job, is another starting from a scratch way to get another job. So we could actually avoid that.
You know, somebody said that one of the most dangerous people in the world is not the person that is quiet in the room, but the guy that is very eloquent. Because the guy that knows how to talk very well, he can actually destroy with his mouth.
Yes.
So these are people that might not be the smartest in the room, but because he's eloquent, he can actually shadow everybody in the room. Like he can take advantage of everybody in the room. So these are things that we should look at, and we should try as much as possible to start trying to guard against. And like to tell you that for our viewers, that this particular podcast is coming to you courtesy of iMedia Digital Hub. This is a place where we build content that helps you build your productivity. So we have different content on our platforms on iMedia Digital Hub, and you can actually go to our website at www.imediadigitalhub to have access to this content. And you can also visit our YouTube page at iMedia Digital Hub, or you can also visit our other YouTube page at iMedia TV to have access to this content.
Yes, let me also expand on content. We have the educational content, we have business content, we have the cartoons for kids, and even adults too. You can get this content on a flash drive for just 5,000 naira. You can also get other content from our website, just like Shamsudeen just said.
So when we look at this, for me, looking at it generally and looking at how a lot of people and society has actually constructed us to be. So there is a place of being African, there's a place of being human, and there is a place of not being mischievous, irrespective of whether one of the set of people that are always aggrieved, like one of the people that are always willing to say anything, that is an aggrieved person. Okay. Yes, somebody who feels that I'm with you and he was pained by something or he didn't expect something to you. So he can, because of that pain, he can actually go to any length to spit anything that he feels at the mind. Yes. So, and one of the things that is always advised is when you are angry, moments that you don't make statements are times where you are angry and when you are happy. Because somebody can be so happy, maybe he's in a place, for example, maybe spouses or a boyfriend and girlfriend matter, the guy is so happy. Then he started making promises, and the lady is happy too that, okay, this guy is making promises, or he's just saying a whole lot of things. Then it is when a guy is back to normal and he's back to his right senses, then he say, okay, you said this yesterday, and he will be feeling like, why did I say this? And they show him the camera that, look, you said this on tape. I'm like, oh, I. So to avoid those, try as much as possible to guard your utterances. And the other times are when people are angry. So no matter what, it is always advisable that when you are being pushed to the wall, when you are having the urge to say things, try as much as possible to pull it down. Try as much as possible to look for ways to just say suppress it.
Or don't say at all.
Or don't say at all. And just don't.
And that's where even Allah says in the Holy Quran that we should always guide us, and Allah has ordained us not to belittle the value of our tongue.
It's very important that we guard our utterances. So, and one thing that I like to end with is one of the hadiths of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that talks about we being Muslims, and he said, "Man kana yu'minuna billahi wa bil yawmil akhir faqul khayran aw liyasmut." That for whosoever believe in Allah and the day of judgment should either say the truth or you keep quiet. So this is our own take on this episode of iMedia Podcast. So we are saying that if you must talk, then you say what is reasonable, you say the truth, and if not, you keep quiet. Because what you might be saying might actually be hurting somebody.
And I'll leave you with this. Allah says that we should, as in like not a word that he or she says, and then there is a watcher by him, by that person who is ready to record that thing you've said. It's in Surah Al-Kahf at chapter 50, verse 18. So we should always watch what we say, weigh our words before we let them out, because you never can tell who you are hurting out there.
So many thanks for watching today's episode of iMedia Podcasts. And we're glad that you joined us. So you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at iMedia Digital Hub to have more of this content. And also, you can also go to our website at www.imediadigitalhub to have more access to our content. Many thanks for watching. What is your take on saying the truth or just keeping quiet? You can actually share your thoughts with us on the comment section. I will be glad to actually be there to respond to these and more of your thoughts. My name is Shamsudeen Abdulrazak Gidado.
And I remain Sherifat Yahaya. Have a great day.
Thank you.